already bought the right thing.
I'm like, I wonder who else out there is mad about my blender.
And I think they would find that if they tackled the problem, they would quickly begin to write the way I write. Harold Innis has the same problem. Yeah. His sentences are totally discontinuous. Yeah. Each one is a kind of little book in itself. And anybody who tries to read Harold Innis continuously goes mad. And because he wants you to use each of his sentences as a kind of world. Yeah. Not as a continuum. Not something in a continuum.
But do you mean it totally seriously when you say that your books can be opened at any page?
Any page, anywhere, yes.
You're at the top of the intellectual tree. Is it a good sign for all of us that you failed grade 6?
Well, I never heard about that.
I think all of Mcluhan's ideas had just sort of run their course.
The show, which will ensure a great deal of popularity and representativeness to the show.
And if you were a student in 1972 or 3, say,
if you can think of a sponsor who ignores the audience.
Are you going to take Marshall McLuhan's class? Oh, I don't know. It's kind of passé.
Maybe the CBC in Canada.
So that means
a big bureaucratic organization which feels it's quite above the needs of the audience. And so it creates a great many unpopular shows.
He undergoes brain surgery and the doctors remove a benign tumor the size of a lemon.
And that affected his thinking. How could it not affect your thinking? And that affected his thinking. How could it not affect your thinking? And that affected his thinking. How could it not affect your thinking?
I wouldn't say they're especially interesting. They're just unpopular.
And he was left actually unable to read. And he was left actually unable to read. And he was left actually unable to read. And he was left actually unable to read.
It creates a great many unpopular shows.
He undergoes brain surgery and the doctors
He undergoes it in 1967.
Benign tumor the size of a lemon.
And he was left actually unable to read. And he was left actually unable to read. And he was left actually unable.
The liveliest act in Las Vegas, Mcluhan, Nader, Turner, Ross. Gobbledygook from a futurist, tirades against the networks from an activist, dire warnings about enemies from a broadcasting maverick, and some give from A&T. And T. Left-handed. A-N-T and T. Only a person who's dyslexic would ever say that out loud. Mcluhan. The medium is the message futurist out of Canada laid some of his imponderables on more than 1,000 cable convention delegates last week. The present is the future of the future. He got that from Jerry Feigen, who helped bankroll Mechanical Bride or After Mechanical Bride. He bankrolled Mcluhan with Howard Gossage and had him come out to New York. It was...
Father Calkins, my friend Jerry Feigen says, the future of the future is the present. But very few people dare look at the present. This is always true.
Because almost every idea they possess is
the beginning of the Mcluhan that people know now. I have a inscription from Mechanical Bride to Jerry from Marshall. If I find it, which I won't for this video, I'll post it one day when I do. The present is the future, and the cause of the Civil War was the telegraph. Ian Ross, president of Bell Laboratories, was a model of clarity by comparison, but he too left some ambiguities. Oh God, should there be ambiguities? Oh my God, ambiguities in life? Oh my God, these people, these commentators are completely irresponsible for revealing ambiguity in existence. Oh my fucking word. Along with what seemed like the assurances of a cable industry worried about Ma Bell wanted to hear. Only consumer activists Ralph Nader and Ted, that's all you get. Marshall Mcluhan, the medium in is the message futurist out of Canada, laid some of his imponderables on more than 1,000 cable convention delegates last week. The present is the future of the future, and the cause of the Civil War was the telegraph. Social media, I think it's caused division. Who's right?
And if you were a student in 1972 or 3, say, take Marshall McLuhan's class, oh, I don't know, it's kind of passé. I think all of McLuhan's ideas had just sort of run their course.
The cause of the Civil War was the telegraph. The telegraph is basically Twitter at the time of the Civil War, but yeah, his ideas, they ran their course. Social media, I think it's caused division. Who's right? Ian Ross, president of Bell Laboratories, was a model of clarity, hilarious, but he too left some ambiguities, along with what seemed like the assurances a cable industry worried about Ma Bell wanted to hear. So what is this? This guy's talking about clarity, yet he has a sentence that says that. Ian Ross, president of Bell Laboratories, was a model of clarity by comparison, but he too left some ambiguities behind, along with what seemed like the assurances. Okay, so this is an inferred but not mentioned by name message, but a message that was inferred, not necessarily by Ian Ross, but he too left some ambiguities behind. That's the end of Ian Ross' description. Now we have a new description, but not attributed to anybody, along with what seemed like the assurances a cable industry worried about Ma Bell wanted to hear. Along with what seemed like the assurances a cable industry worried about Ma Bell wanted to hear. Ah, there we go. Along with what seemed like the... Okay, so making everybody relax and not be worried about the cable industry. Yeah, so just more bullshit saying new technology will make your fucking hardware obsolete, therefore you'll probably have to, cut whatever the fucking term is that people use in journalism. There's a movie about it by Steven Soderbergh with fucking Matt Damon. What a fucking tangent. The point is that he could fucking read in 1979.
To read.
The unequivocal implication is that he had a tumor removed from his brain in 1967, and then Copeland comes in and says he was actually, as if it's like something that's just occurred to him, he was actually unable to read after the brain surgery, which took place in 1967. So if you're going to take the show at its word, he was unable to read after 1967. That is the message that CBC is conveying about Marshall McLuhan.
And to what extent the BBC is in the same boat, I don't know, but you might be able to comment.
You did fail grade 6.
No, I didn't.
Our research made an error?
Yep.
Linear thinking again.
Yeah, it's a...
We were using the wrong hemisphere.
Classification. Problem. Classification. Problem. Classification. Problem. Classification. Problem. Classification. Problem.
At the speed of light, there is no sequence. Everything happens at the same instant. That's acoustic. And everything happens at once. There's no continuity, there's no connection, there's no follow-through. It's just all now. And that, by the way, is the way any sport is. Sports tend to be like that. And in terms of the new lingo of the hemispheres, it's all right hemisphere. Games are all right hemisphere. And because they involve the whole man, and they are all participatory, and they're all uncertain, they're not, there's no continuity, there's just all surprise, unexpectedness, and total involvement.
Is that okay, do you think?
The hemisphere thing?
Yeah, but I mean the whole thing. No surprise, all spontaneity, no connection, just all at one time.
You're a boy who was a man who is a tree, perfect hair forever. In life there are sometimes consequences to the actions a hero must face. To the end of the universe, watch out for bears. To them you are spaghetti dinner, perfect hair forever. Keep on f***ing in Paris, keep on f***ing in Paris. Keep on f***ing in Paris, Love, 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 you're dead, but don't die. Go to the mountain where those people are. Perfect hair forever. Buy some things to bring them to the mountain which does not exist.
Well, in short, electricity is simultaneity, whereas previous mechanical environments were sequential.
Spontaneity, no connection, just all at one time. Is that okay for people?
Well, okay, I mean, is it good for people?
Yes.
We live in a world where everything is supposed to be one thing at a time, linear, connected, logical, and goal-oriented. So obviously for that left hemisphere world, this new right hemisphere dominance is bad. We're now living in a world which pushes the right hemisphere way up because it's an all-at-once world. The right hemisphere is an all-at-once simultaneous world. So the right hemisphere, by pushing up into dominance, is making the old left hemisphere world, which is our educational establishment, our political establishment, make it look very foolish.
I think all of Mcluhan's ideas had just sort of run their course.
Technological effects on society. Problem solved, according to Douglas Copeland.